Welcome to the castle where trust goes to die and everything is called into question.
The whispering is even suspicious, Lauren.
Exactly, it's traitors. Tonight, loyalties will crumble, friendships will be questioned, and someone may get banished.
How are they even going to pick someone? It's so early in the game. Are they going to breathe too much?
Yes, I think that would make them a traitor.
My gosh, what if they're outlandish or smartassy like me?
That's suspicious. Probably a traitor.
Basically, existing is going to be a crime.
There's really only one way to find out. Traitors, Season 4, Episodes 1 through 3. Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the host, side by side. Channel surfers, let's ride.
Hey, channel surfers, welcome to Remote Reality. I'm Lauren, your friend and attorney host who loves to overanalyze everything, including my favorite reality TV shows. And I am particularly excited about Traitors because we can use my criminal defense background to maybe solve these murder mysteries. I'm going to object to some stuff, I'll tell you that.
We're definitely going to be judging. And I'm Dee, her paralegal, who is reluctantly but excitedly doing this. The only thing that's reluctant about it is this cape.
We can
So-
take the capes off.
I'm getting hot.
Take it off, Dee. Take it off.
I'll do a little strip tease. Let's see.
It's okay. She's done.
I'm done.
For those of you on YouTube, she was just taking her cape off in front of everybody. Woo! I thought you were done when you told me to grab the wine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's Friday, so we're having a little cocktail. And channel servers, come and join us. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. Share with a friend who loves a reality TV, smart commentary, bad decisions.
We have all of
finds
those here.
themselves yelling, "Why is this happening?"
Or what the fuck, which is usually what I say.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
All right, well, let's head into the castle. Actually, before we jump in these cars and head over to the castle, if you're not brand new here for Traitors and you've been surfing with us, you know that we like to deep dive into everything. And next week, we will start that with Traitors. We did not expect Peacock to come at us like that with 3 episodes. My gosh, I was drowning over there up till 3 a.m. Took I don't know how many pages of notes. We're just going to hit on the highlights. Make sure you've watched episodes 1 through 3 before you listen to this recap. Actually, more review.
Our fun
Critique.
points. Our fun points.
Siskel and Ebert, thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up! So that's what we're doing today. But we will go more into what people said, overanalyzing all the good stuff like that in the future episodes. All right. We're rolling up into this castle in these cars, and it looks like somebody is having a luau with tiki torches just lining the streets to this castle in Scotland.
As they're driving down the driveway into it. I actually liked them coming in at night this time. I thought it added a little more drama.
Yes. Oh, I did love the night. And I loved the fire show when they pull up to the castle. It reminded me of Disney or something. Not that I love Disney. Actually, being around a lot of people in long lines isn't my thing. I know people love it. Let's be honest. The last time I went to Disney, my mother-in-law was there. So that might have flavored the experience a little bit.
May have tainted it a little.
All right, let's just jump right into it. Observations as we're pulling up, getting out of the cars, getting settled in to season 4.
Well, a lot of the players I didn't recognize, but
Me
I'm a
neither.
huge Housewives fan. So, of course, I recognized Portia and Lisa and Dorinda, who I'm glad is back. I thought she got the short end of the stick last.
She definitely did. I was
yeah.
so disappointed that she got kicked out first last season.
Yeah, so I am so glad to see her back. And I think it's going to be really interesting because these girls have big personalities. Very big personalities. All of them.
And of course, I know Big Brother we recapped this summer. I've been watching since season 2. I know Ian. I know Tiffany. I love Tiffany, one of
Mhm.
my favorite players. Ian was a super fan on Big Brother. So when he was on the show, I was like, oh, it's like me being in the house. It kind of puts
Mm.
you into the experience when you see another super fan in the house. And I feel like so much is going on at this point, but just an observation about Ian Colton from The Bachelor seems to be a Big Brother fan because he knows who Ian is. He says he won his season. So that was neat seeing Colton as a fan of Ian. We also see Michael as a super fan of The Real Housewives. He was geeking out. He is smiling and cheesing so big that when we get
Yes.
to the part where they're looking to see who the secret traitor is, Caroline thinks that Michael is the traitor just because he cannot wipe that smile off his face.
No, he said, "I am a housewife." He literally said, "I am a housewife,"
And he
because he's such a
gets
fan.
down into the drama with them too, which
Mhm.
Real Housewives fans, I mean, can you imagine living in a house with a housewife and going toe to toe with Portia?
No. But if
Actually,
anybody could, he could.
Liz lived in a house with one of the housewives when she was on her reality show.
Which one? Which housewife? Do you remember?
Taylor?
From Beverly Hills?
Yes, that one.
Oh, wow.
That one.
Okay.
Liz. She's my friend. She was the original co-host of the show, but
Thanks, Liz.
she's got a lot of stuff going on. She still says she's coming back at some point.
We no longer say, "Where's Liz?" because that was so 6 months ago.
It's Lauren and Dee now. Oh man, we just got so sidetracked. Like, stay on course. You know what? Actually, I think this cape is giving me traitor brain or something. I'm gonna turn the lights back on and take the cape off.
I think we're good if we just stick with these shirts. They'll be our official Trader shirt broadcasting top.
Yes, our green under the cape wear. Yeah, I
Mhm.
feel so much better. Channel surfers, if you're not on YouTube, I'm back to my normal lighting. But anyway, so yeah, she had a good experience living with a housewife. I guess it really just depends on who you get, but these are fun ones.
Mhm.
So we've got the housewives observations. Lisa Renna was so excited to see Dorinda as well. And
Mhm.
Dorinda said she's wearing Renna's lip liner. So I had to go look at this. Apparently you can get on Amazon. It's called the Renna collection or something. And they have an iconic lip set. It's like a
Hmm.
liner, a gloss, and I don't know, something else, $34.
Oh, well, let's save it in our carts.
Oh yeah, this podcast ain't making money.
We
I might have
broke.
browsed over there, but I
We're
didn't.
broke, not broken.
It's costing us money to record this. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So the housewives, Michael, he has this gruff, like, I don't give a shit attitude. He's like, some shit's going down. He's so exciting. He's so over the top.
He I mean, I've seen some of his movies. He was on Big Bang. He was in Beautiful Girls, and his personality is very similar to a lot of the characters that he plays, which is very just blunt, outspoken, over the top. You
My
like you
husband walked in while I was watching it. He's like, oh, that guy's in a new Fallout out movie. It's because my son fell asleep in my bed and woke up and he was terrified of traitors. I was like, oh man,
Mhm.
wait until he sees I have a cape.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah.
also was in Friends. He played Phoebe's boyfriend that he was like a police officer and he killed a bird that was tweeting outside.
Yes, I remember. I like him, but I think his personality is really gonna be throwing people off left and right.
Now, do you watch The Bachelor? Did you know Colton?
I have not watched The Bachelor in probably 10 years. So, no.
Same. And he was a Bachelor a long time ago. Let me see one. All right. So Colton was on Becca's season of The Bachelor in 2018. He was The Bachelor in 2019. He's been on Bachelor in Paradise. I'm surprised it was only 2018 and 2019. But then again, in my head, that's like 3 years ago. That wasn't 8 years ago.
Yeah, well, I have some very traumatizing memories from those years, so I know exactly how long ago it was. I like count it down, honestly. But anyway, back to happier stuff.
But yeah, I didn't realize that I was still watching The Bachelor at that point. Again, I still think it was 3 years ago.
Mm-mm.
Colton's big storyline was he was a virgin,
Oh, wow.
and it turns out that after his engagements did not work out from the show, he did find the love of his life, and he has a husband now. So The Bachelor led him on his path of self-discovery, and he's happily married.
Awesome. Good for him.
I did really like that he is a Big Brother fan, too.
Mhm.
I relate Colton. So we have the people from Survivor, which I don't really watch Survivor. Mama
Mm-mm.
C, who covered Big Brother with me, Dee did some of it, but my mom did some of it with me because she and I have been watching since season 2. She is a big Survivor fan as well. So she would know all of these people. But there was Natalie, Yam Yam, which they kept calling him Jam Jam.
It's spelled Yam Yam. I know I'm going to call him Yam Yam all season now.
I'm going to try to go for Jam Jam.
Either way. Yam Yam, Jam Jam.
I don't know. It's making me hungry.
Me too.
Rob C. Was there another Survivor?
I don't think there was another Survivor because they were kind of throwing Survivor, Big Brother, and something else in like the gamer category. So there was like 5, a total of 5.
Now, Rob seems to have his finger on the pulse. I was impressed when his first instinct was to partner with Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
And Yam Yam had some good observations too. We'll get into that in a little bit. Then there's the other Rob,
Mm-hmm.
Rob
Cute.
R, which
Yes.
I couldn't really keep the two apart because I don't watch Love Island either. So there's
I
Rob
don't
R
watch-
from Love Island and Mara.
Mara, whatever her name was.
But I think Mara is from like a UK
different-
version.
Yeah.
Because she hasn't watched any of these shows. The only
And she's-
person she knows in the house is Rob R.
And does she have an accent or not have an accent? It's like sometimes I hear her talk and she's got this accent, like a British accent. And then other times I don't hear an accent with her.
You might need
It's-
your hearing checked because I always hear the accent.
It was weird. Maybe it's me. I'll chalk it up to me.
I was like, who invited this Rob guy? Is he on the right show? His B-roll in the intro is him without a shirt on, eating fruit in the castle.
Mm.
At one point, he says, I'm not used to wearing clothes, not doing the Love Island stuff. And I was thinking, watch out, like Traitors, Faithfuls, everybody watch out because Rob R is going to get confused and he's going to think he's on Love Island. Nobody's
That's
safe.
okay. That's okay, Rob. We don't mind.
I don't think a lot of the
You
house
take that
guests
shirt-
mind either. They
you
all
take that
seem to
shirt
really
off.
like him. Especially Mara. She immediately says that she wants to partner up with him.
Mm-hmm.
And he just kind of shrugs it off. He's like, we'll see.
Typical, I'm not going to commit to anything.
She doesn't seem to give up, though.
Mm-mm.
Then we have Monet from Drag Race, which I loved the plaid blazer. It was so cute. I was looking for plaid blazers the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic. Also very receptive. Monet's very receptive.
Mm-hmm.
She makes some early observations in the game. You have Johnny and Tara,
The skaters.
who you know.
No, I didn't know. You were confusing them with the ones that I knew from when I was younger watching on TV.
So you've never heard of Tara Lipinski?
I've heard of her, but barely. Because, I just, once you have
Stopped
kids
watching the
and,
Olympics.
yeah, life gets busy. It's not a priority.
Yeah, I originally was thinking, oh no, she hit a girl with the ice skate. This is way too dangerous to put her in Traitors.
And then I texted Lorna. I'm like, I think you have her confused with Tanya Harding.
That's all right. Tanya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan.
Yeah. Which this girl could be their kid.
Maybe this is why she's not on Traitors. Who else is there?
I think we've covered a lot of them.
There's Donna,
How could we
Donna
forget
Kelsey.
Mama Donna?
Travis, and Jason Kelsey's mom, which
She's a huge fan of this show, by the way, because she had
Super fan.
binge watched all the seasons with her sons.
her son Travis is engaged to Taylor Swift. So she probably has the most famous connection out of anybody in that house.
I know, and how many times when I watch these 3 episodes, I was so sick of people saying, I'm concerned about the Swifties. I don't want the Swifties to kill me. I mean, that's how big of a following Taylor Swift has, that these people on a show that's with her, future mother-in-law are worried about her fans.
I mean, we're not just talking some viewers in the US. If my parents walked into a grocery store, they wouldn't recognize the Real Housewives. I wouldn't recognize half this cast of Traitors.
Mm-mm.
But her future daughter-in-law, Donna's future daughter-in-law, Taylor Swift, I mean, worldwide,
Everybody
she would
knows
be
her.
recognized. Even people that don't listen to her music.
Yeah, I don't listen to it.
Swifties are coming for you.
That's okay.
I don't either, but
I got nothing to lose.
I don't hate it. I just kind of got stuck in the 1990s, 2000s hip hop R&B era and never came out.
I was more of a fan when she was country. When she first came out. She has amazing songwriting skills.
Donna feels very comfortable around Ron. He's a comedian, and her son Travis was in a film with him.
Mm-hmm.
So she has a good connection with him. I liked Ron. He actually looks a lot like one of my friends from law school who is now a federal judge. And every time I see him, I'm just like thinking of my friend. Like, oh, look, looks like my friend is on the Traitors. I mean, almost like a spitting image.
Wow.
I didn't watch One Tree Hill, but there's Steven. I don't even know what One Tree Hill is.
I think
I'll be
I seen
honest.
maybe the first season. It came out back in, I think, maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. But I think it was definitely the 2000s because one of the guys from One Tree Hill was on Gilmore Girls, and he left Gilmore Girls and went to One Tree Hill. So
I have to say, I wasn't super impressed with Steven. We get to one of the missions where Monet is coming up with a strategy. They're going on boats to retrieve caskets out of the water. And he kind of jumps in, him and Colton, and cuts her off. And then he's like, the leaders here are me, Colton, and Rob R. And I was
the
like,
guy
well,
from Survivor, or is that the other
no.
one? Okay,
Rob R is the one from Love Island.
the good-looking one.
And when I was like, how am I going to remember Rob C from Rob R? I'll tell you that in a little bit.
You didn't like his attitude.
Well, his team sucked too.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe, like, why didn't he recognize that Monet was the first one out there trying to come up with a strategy? I just wasn't a fan. And that's really, we didn't see much else of him. There's Mark from Dancing with the Stars. We don't see a lot of him. You said he reminded you of Fabio.
I know it was just the hair. He has great hair. So whenever I see guys with great hair, I always think of Fabio.
Okay, he has long, curly, dark hair. Fabio has long, straight, blonde hair.
That is not what I just said. I said whenever I see guys with long, great hair, I always think of Fabio. It doesn't matter if it's
Cody
curly or
Brown.
straight. No, Cody Brown doesn't have Fabio hair. He has clown hair.
And yeah, I think that pretty much covers the cast. Did I say Kristen from Top Chef? Okay, Kristen from Top Chef, and then Eric, who's a singer-songwriter. Again, he's
Didn't
not
really
Lil
know who
Wayne,
he
so I don't
was.
know.
Yeah, I didn't really know who he was. But he was one of them that was definitely worried about the Swiftie fans.
Any other early observations from the cast?
No, nothing stood out to me. They were all just getting to know each other and kind of probably
Well, and
mentally.
that's after the twist. So from the moment the episode started, Alan had me pulled in with the tarot cards. Channel surfers, we like to pull ours out every once in a while and try to predict a outcome, like on Love is Blind.
Yes, we have done it a couple of times.
At the beginning of the episode, Alan's saying that he's trying to figure out who the faithful are and who the traitors are. And he rolls out this new twist this season. It's going to be the fastest time that a traitor has been named, the only time that they've done it in front of everybody. All of these druids and Alan come walking up to the castle, and I must have been hungry. I was like, are they holding donut boxes? But no, they're these very pretty little wooden boxes. There's 23 of them, one for each person. And Alan's going to call everybody up, open up the box in front of the crew, And if there is a traitor tarot in there, then that is going to be our secret traitor. The secret traitor isn't going to know the other 3 traitors that will be revealed during the round table an episode. And the other 3 traitors won't know the secret traitor. But what is explained to us is secret traitor will narrow down the picks, and then the 3 other traitors will off somebody from those picks. And if they get far enough, then they get to meet up. What did you think about this twist?
I love it because after watching, I've only watched season 3. So after watching season 3, I was like, I think it would be better if the audience is actually trying to guess who might be a traitor as well as the faithfuls that are there. I think it would be funner. So I love the idea of bringing one in that nobody knew who the traitor was.
Also, the traitors now have a mystery traitor.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not faking trying to figure out who the traitor is. They really are trying to figure out who the traitor is. And vice
Right.
versa. The mystery traitor is looking for a number of other traitors.
Right.
In the past, that would have had to be completely acting. But
Mm-hmm.
now it's reality. They don't even know who the traitors are.
Right. I mean, there's pros and cons to, knowing and not knowing. Obviously, there's a lot of setbacks with not
Like what?
knowing who it is. Well, for the other traders to not know because they don't know who to try to deflect for or for it's hard not knowing who you need to protect because they want to try and work as a group to protect each other from
Up to a certain
banishment.
point.
Yeah,
But
from
like
banishment.
we saw last season, people started throwing each other under the bus. So
Right. That's true. That's true.
I didn't think it made a difference other than it's less acting that they have to do.
Well, that's true,
Because
but I
they
think
really are curious as to who the traitor is.
exactly. Yeah.
Like you said, the viewers are pulled into it now. So I'm watching these episodes like a hawk.
Mm-hmm.
What are their faces doing? Like every scenario, what are they saying? Immediately, I figured it out. And we'll go ahead and say it. The traitor is Donna.
Did you really figure her out that quick?
I figured it out by the time they looked at the cards and walked in, I knew it was Donna.
Wow.
Her face had no expression on it. Not at all. And in my notes, I put, she is overacting.
Mm-hmm.
She is trying too hard to hide this. Imagine yourself in this position. You just got all of the cars. You have this exciting light show. You're seeing a bunch of people and talking to people. I mean, even Ron went up to Donna and said, "You've raised 2 great boys. I'm huge fans of theirs. You're an amazing woman." All of this excitement. She walks up, looks at the cards, and walks back expressionless.
Mm-hmm.
Every other person had some expression, whether
little
it's
bit of a tell.
smile or disappointment. And this wasn't like Botox face. This wasn't she couldn't do an expression.
Right.
She was really trying to hide it. And to me, that was so obvious.
See, I didn't really figure it out until the first round table when they had to pick somebody. And I was looking at the handwriting on all of the cards versus the list that the traders would get. And I was like, oh, I think hers is the closest to that handwriting that was on that list.
Which I didn't even go that far into it. I looked at the list and I was like, that looks more feminine. But why else would she just have that expressionless face?
True. I think,
and why would you try to hide not being the traitor?
Yeah. I kind of felt like if she had been one that was picked with the hand on the shoulder, that she might have lasted longer than being the one that nobody knew and she was kind of out there by herself.
Well, everybody loved her. Even when she went to look at her cards, everyone's saying they love her.
Mm-hmm.
They can't kill her off. Also, the traitors picked out round table. We have 2 women and a male.
Mm-hmm.
That was one thing that kind of threw me off the scent of Donna because I thought maybe they would have even
2
it
and
out
2.
2 guys and 2 girls.
Mhm.
And Lisa Renna ends up saying that as well. But when we get to the round table, even to pick the other Traitors, she was just trying so hard to make that face. The other thing is she kept saying that she is just super fans of all of these people and she's really shy. But one moment she talks about during the Super Bowl meeting,
It's one of the Beagles.
Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, I thought it was Paul McCartney.
That Paul McCartney. Again, not juvenile or not. So I thought that was kind of put on. She's around famous people a lot. Think about how many people just go to Taylor Swift shows.
True.
And her sons are in the NFL.
Yeah.
But she gave off this like grandma, sweet, probably making us cookies in the kitchen vibe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believed her. I thought that she was just kind of starstruck and
You
just
believed
kind of
her?
Yeah, when she
At
said
what point did you realize she was the traitor?
Well, I said that I kind of thought it was her when by the handwriting with the first round table, but the first round table, she was one that somebody came after. So afterwards, she was saying, "Look, I'm just a little starstruck. I really don't know what to say to people, so I'm just kind of sitting back and observing." And I thought that it was a plausible thing to say.
Right, but you believed it after the first round table.
I suspected her at the first round table because of the handwriting on her card.
When were you convinced she was a traitor?
When she admitted it. Not until then. I was
My
not
notes,
convinced.
I kept writing, it's Donna though. Other people that you suspected, like I kept bouncing around with Donna. I thought Yam Yam and Monet potentially because they were one of the first ones to throw out a name, which they throw out Donna's name.
Mm-hmm.
Also, looking at the build of the traitor, I was like, that could be Ron, Yam Yam, or Donna. How do they all have the same build?
Yeah, I was thinking, like I said, I suspected her. She was like one on my list when I saw her handwriting on the card. Another person that I suspected was Tiffany, and that was only because when they were showing the clips of him doing the interviews of the different people, what would make them a good traitor kind of thing. She was one of them that was included in those. You didn't see everybody's interview, but you definitely saw the ones that he had already chosen. And since hers was included in those, I thought, okay, maybe it's Tiffany. Maybe, production is playing with us and she's going to be the one because we saw her interview. I wasn't suspicious of anybody, honestly, because it's the very beginning. It's very hard to.
I was suspicious of everybody. And if we were going into more detail, I wrote down every reason every time I saw it. Now, the first round table, they go in and they pick Lisa Rinna, Candace from Real Housewives of Potomac, and Rob R. from Love Island. When Alan is walking around the table, you know how he kind of like weaves his hand around people because they can feel the energy? You know when somebody's right beside you and you're like, okay,
right.
They're there.
You can't see them, but you can feel that
I've got
somebody's
bad
right there.
peripheral vision. I understand that feeling. Donna didn't even flinch. It's like she knew she wasn't going to be touched. I even watched that part. Lisa Rinna is so excited. She wants to be the most iconic traitor ever. And she is wearing head to toe leopard print. Her fedora, her outfit. She's about to tear somebody up. Rawr.
I love her. And she's got glasses for every outfit. I kept watching all of the glasses that she changed from with each outfit, and I was like, I love that idea.
Candace and also Portia had on these very pink outfits. Candace had like a pink jumper on. Portia had a pink sweater on. And going into the show, that's going to give people a certain presentation of you. It doesn't really scream traitor when you see somebody in a powder pink onesie.
Candace's look like a schoolgirl outfit. That's what I was thinking, like a private school outfit, only but with pretty colors.
So I think that was a good strategy.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the turret the first night to meet. Candace and Lisa are so excited to see each other. I was also surprised we had 2 Real Housewives.
I was too. I didn't expect that.
But it also felt like Dorinda's going to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we've got Rob, which I don't know Rob from Love Island until now. Lisa and Candace are screaming so loud. if the traitors really slept at that castle, they would have heard it. But allegedly, they sleep in like a Hotel Marriott down the street or whatever Scotland's version of that is. And then Rob walks in. He says he'd be a good traitor because he's hard to read. Absolutely.
100%.
He gives nothing.
Mm-mm.
And not in a Donna way where Donna's like stone faced, but he's able to just sit in a room and like his presence is part of the conversation. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, he's like a silent observer kind of person. Like
Now,
he's there, you can feel his energy, and he doesn't even have to say anything.
now what his presence was given me was a serial killer. I was thinking, Rob, you know this is just a show. You're not really going to get to murder people, right? He did not look excited or anything. He's like, all right, I'm here. Let's kill.
Let's do it.
Like a pro. I feel like Lisa and Candace, though, they do start to break him toward the end of the first 3 episodes. We see him smiling some.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning, they go and they get him to do a pact with them. So the traitors are promising not to turn on each other. The green traitors, the original 3, the red traitor, the secret traitor, they're not there to make the pact. So far, out of the green traitors, Candace is really the only one that has suspicion popping up around her.
I think she's very outspoken in the group with all of the other people. And,
Well, she's
and
also starting some stuff.
she
Like with
is.
Portia, during one of the missions, she tells Portia that Michael said he was trying to make sure the housewives don't get protection. And then Portia gets very upset about it. And I couldn't believe,
How easily she backpedaled out of that.
well, Candace just sat there and was like, I didn't say that. You misunderstood. And she like gaslights Portia into believing she
it was like
misunderstood it.
Yeah, straight face, no bullshit. Just I don't think you heard that right.
And
then
fortunately, Mara, who is sitting in the car with them, doesn't remember the scenario, which kind of going back to early observations, Mara says she's going to play the sweet girl from Love Island, but people won't realize she has a brain. And then we see her like, I can't even remember a conversation I had in the car. I don't know what was said.
Yeah,
where's your brain, girl? Where's your brain?
She blew that right out of the water. Mara, people aren't going to think that now.
There were like 2 or 3 instances where I wrote down, Mara, what happened to your brain?
Well, Candace even threw Lisa under the bus before the traitors were even picked.
She pegged it. She was like,
I think Lisa would make a good one.
It wasn't before. It was after.
I thought it was
before
because
they revealed her.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
After Candace knew she was a traitor, that Candace was a traitor, but it's before Candace knew who was picked with her. Because her strategy was you have to have the mindset of a faithful. If you want to play a faithful, be a faithful. And a faithful would be asking who's hiding around the corner, which I think is a good strategy. Like you said, she's just getting caught up in stuff. Another good strategy of Candace's is when things start to go bad, she creates a distraction. So in the second episode, we see her make a conga line. The traitors have to do what do they call it? A live murder.
A murder in front of everybody. Public murder.
And they need time to get the deck of cards. So she starts a conga line and they're able to accomplish it. But it just reminds me of so many things, especially she worked in DC, she worked in politics. When the PR is not good, we're about to kill somebody, let's just have another distraction and people will forget about it.
Right. And I thought it was so interesting that she had the conversation with Rob C. And Rob C says, I think there's a live murder going on right now.
Oh, yeah. And then they end up murdering him.
And they murdered him. And ironically, she never got to get with the other 2 traitors to tell them anything about who to choose. So they chose Rob C without even knowing. And she was like so relieved the next morning at breakfast because she was like, I was just going to tell you guys. He knew there was a.
Talk about traitor strategies. I think that's a good transition because we talked about Candace's traitor strategy, have the mind of a traitor. Rob's traitor strategy is to get the smart people out.
Yes. Yes.
Great strategy. And they're going for the gamers.
Not intentionally, I don't think, but I think that it's working out that way because they seem to be very random, which is causing a lot of chaos because they can't figure out when someone gets murdered why that person.
Well, they're going for the smartest player, and the smartest players are the gamers. And I thought you meant not intentionally because at first they weren't being able to narrow down who the choices were.
Right. Right. Yeah. His strategy is definitely going after the smartest people. I'm just saying it's a coincidence that it seems to be the gamers. It wasn't deliberate to go after the gamers group of people.
But you see the gamers and how they think. They're always
Right.
thinking 3, 4 steps ahead. They're
They seem-
strategizing.
Right. They seem to be the smarter ones, and that's the ones he's going
Look at the
after.
way that Tiffany analyzes something versus the way Colton analyzes something.
Right. Well, even Rob C, he's like, something's going on. Something feels off. Like he knew immediately this shouldn't be happening when the damn conga line starts.
Versus Colton in episode 3, he suspects that Tiffany might be the traitor because she's close to Michael, who he thinks might be a traitor, but also doesn't like, I guess. Which I guess that could be like all the traitors are hanging out together. I feel like that's not what we've seen though. Usually they kind of try to filter throughout, kind of like Johnny and Tara. They're best friend ice skaters, but they're trying to keep their distance.
Right.
And Tiffany trusts Michael, so that was the reason that he thinks she's a traitor. To me,
Yeah.
that wasn't real strong evidence that somebody is a traitor.
Right. I didn't think it was strong evidence. I think it's because so many people are talking about Michael. Everybody's suspecting Michael because he's just so over the top with his personality and his defense of himself when anything comes up. And
But I'm saying the analysis isn't great because, as we see, Tiffany has a completely legitimate reason for doing this. She's thinking
She
3 steps
does.
ahead. She wants to keep her enemies close, which she doesn't know that. But that's what happens when you've got weak facts.
Right. But Colton doesn't see it the same way as her because he
And that's
doesn't
the
know why.
that's the
Yeah.
difference between a gamer analysis and not a
Right.
gamer.
Right. I
Which
see what you're saying.
them going after the gamers, going after the smart players.
Exactly. That makes total sense.
They're like planning their next move, their next game move.
They're 2 steps ahead of everybody.
They're thinking about what available moves there are on the chessboard and which way we can get with it. So I feel like we're kind of jumping around, and we've touched on some missions. We've touched on some roundtables, probably given a lot of thoughts on them. I'm going to try to be a little more organized. You guys, I took so many notes, it crashed my computer.
Oh, no.
I had such detailed notes, and it's driving me crazy that I don't have them in front of me because it crashed, but I'm just going to try to be a little bit more structured. So episode 1, we had the Coffins on the Lock mission where they take the rowboats out. There's coffins with dollar signs. There's coffins with X's. The ones with dollar signs, if you can go get it into an empty grave, then boom, you get $2,500. And when we start, we see Fergus just digging some coffins up, and we find out that there's little name tags on each of them. I was thinking, oh my gosh, do not make them lay in the coffin, because Alan says there's going to be a surprise. My claustrophobia, it was like telling me he's gonna make whoever puts the coffin in lay in it, and then they lose one of the players from the boat.
I know. See, my superstition was kicking in, and I was like, nobody should have their name on a headstone or be in a coffin. Don't do that. That's bad mojo.
So which is worse, if they had to lay in the coffin and then they had less people manning the boat, or the fact that if the coffin went in your grave, you were on the chopping block for murder?
Are you asking me, or are you asking the people following and watching? I would,
Everyone.
gosh, it would probably be worse being down a person in the boats at this point.
See, I'm scared shitless. I'm like, I would not be in that coffin in the ground.
No, I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't. No.
So they end up getting 9 coffins in, about $22,000. I'm not sure what the strategy was. This is the one where Monet started trying to
Mhm.
get everybody on the same page, and then the 3 boats just take off with Colton, even. For the life of me, I can't remember who did the 3rd boat.
Rob,
Rob
the
R.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had one.
As the leaders. I was thinking, if you see a boat with an X, how heavy are these? Like, could you just open the coffin lid so people can tell that's already been checked? It doesn't seem very heavy because at one point,
Colton picked up one and right out of the water.
pulls it right out of the Real Housewives boat. Like, this is mine. He puts it into his boat, which I can't remember who said it. It was either Monet or Yam Yam said, I think it was Monet said it was the gay boat because it had Colton, Yam Yam, Monet,
Mhm.
was it Mark? And then there were like Donna, who is Taylor Swift's future mother-in-law. Perfect. So I don't know how heavy they are. I'm guessing they did more of a man zone strategy where they're like, we'll get this section, you guys get this section. I don't really know. They didn't make clear what the strategy was.
No.
And they talk about different things they should do. At first, Ian and Rob are just like, it doesn't matter. Just throw it into a grave site. Yes,
Mhm.
that person will be up for murder, but it's more quantity over the quality of your picks. In other words, let's fill up these graves. That means more money. Also, from a strategic point of view, that means you're diluting the pool. And if you end up getting a coffin in everybody's grave, then everybody has a chance of being eliminated. It's like nobody gets a shield. I thought that was the smartest strategy. Other strategy was to stop and think about where to put the coffin.
That would have probably taken too much time.
And it's early in the game.
Mhm.
What evidence do you have to go on? They come down to the wire on this, which I feel like is probably an editing trick from production. I just have trouble believing they're really running there with 10 seconds left and they're that close. But they go and they toss the coffin into Portia's grave, one of the teams, and Portia gets upset. That's why I'm thinking this is editing.
Yeah, she took it totally personal.
But I'm thinking it wasn't blatantly obvious that they were just trying to get it into the closest grave site.
Yeah, with that amount of time, absolutely, I agree.
So I wonder if that was editing, because if she knew there was 10 seconds on the clock and they were running up to it,
Mhm.
maybe it was more like 4 minutes and they probably could have had some time to figure it out. But that's just my thought on it.
Mhm.
Do you think it could have hurt the perception of Ian or Rob by saying we don't care where it goes? Because maybe they're not afraid of being eliminated, so they don't care if it's in their grave or not?
That definitely could be a perception because, the faithfuls, at least from past experience, they seem to be paranoid about every little thing. Like it makes it really hard to have an honest conversation and break down who you think might be a traitor because as soon as you start having those conversations, they automatically think that you're deflecting from yourself.
Well, like you said in the beginning, pretty much everything you do, they can
Mhm.
analyze. You've got to look for, it's almost like circumstantial evidence. One
Mhm.
or two things isn't enough. But we see this actually leading into the first round table with Portia. When that
Mm.
evidence starts stacking on itself, you start to form a case. And this first mission, Coffins on the Lock, I think it has consequences for the first round table. Portia gets upset on the way back from this mission. Candace gaslights Portia, tells her that Michael was targeting her. Portia then has it out with Michael,
Mhm.
and that brings the attention to Michael and Portia.
Mhm.
And people start watching what they're doing, what they're saying.
Well, Portia did have a couple of really bad faux pas too. She said she murdered the person from the night before.
Right? When they started watching, this is the evidence that stacked up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
She said, so Ian gets taken out and She says, I murdered Ian.
There was something else that she said. What was it? There was like two
We
things.
we killed Ian. The other thing was saying that there were 4 traitors, which maybe she just watched last season and there were 4 traitors.
Yeah, I wonder if there's been other seasons where there weren't as many. I don't know, but I would have made the same assumption if I had been sitting there that there were 4 because last season there were 4.
The vote is pretty close. Donna also gets brought up by Natalie, who is from Survivor. I thought Natalie was coming pretty hard at Donna. She was not saying things in a nice way. She was basically like, you have a boring face and you're not social.
Bitch.
In later discussions, people are much nicer about Donna. And Donna starts to defend herself. And then when she's finished, Natalie just jumps at her again. And this is when Ron, who is closer with Donna, he kind of diverts the attention away and comes in with a Portia evidence. Like, look, that's great. You don't like her face. But Portia, she said we killed Ian. And 2 other people pop right in and they're like, yeah, I heard it. I think it was Michael and Rob C.
Yeah, she said it in front of like 3 or 4 other people.
So you have some witnesses there.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it's this episode where Michael also misstates that we killed Ian and they all jump on him. They're like, you just said we.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were just talking in the royal we, like we as a house. Not that they're killing them, but like the show killed Ian.
When he was talking, yes, that's the way I took it. When she was saying it, it did not sound that way in the group that she was in.
So first round table, Portia's out by like 2 votes. Second round table, Ian gets killed. Colton is like a dog with a bone. He is not letting go of Donna. He's mad that she didn't get voted out because Portia was a faithful and he's vowing to not let go. And we hear a lot of conversation. And it's interesting because she's being targeted, not because she's loud, not because she's stirring up drama, but because she's flying under the radar. So how does that impact the strategy in this game if you see someone being targeted for not being social?
I think it's a bad idea, regardless. I mean, if it's a traitor or a faithful, they should be socializing. So just because someone's not socializing doesn't make them a traitor.
It's interesting, though, because I feel like some of the strategies of these traitors are to fly under the radar. Lisa Rinna is a big personality, and we're getting it, but I feel like we could be getting a lot more.
Right.
Rob, I think his personality is just under the radar.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't even know if he's awake.
I think an under the radar strategy for him is perfect because it's not raising any red flags. And so I don't understand why they thought that it was a red flag for Donna.
With Candace, they're trying to lasso her in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to fly under the radar. So it's interesting. I think this is where I go back to this is more circumstantial evidence. It's not just that she's flying under the radar. It's that she's not talking strategy with people. It's that she has no expression on her face. I'm not saying it's strong evidence. I thought it was a great decision to get rid of Portia. I did. I liked the evidence that Ron came to the round table with.
I did too. I was just sitting here thinking, I mean, this is going to be totally off topic. Could you imagine if they had like Teresa Caputo on here?
Well, she would just know who to get rid of.
Exactly. Everybody would want to be her friend. Sorry.
Well, they do have a tarot deck.
That's true.
Second round table, Donna is almost unanimously evicted or banished. Michael did vote for Yam Yam instead. So she did not have any suspicion from Michael. Michael really was painting. He's a wild card. He went into that round table complaining about shields from the mission.
The second mission.
Which, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the second mission real quick. They had these chariots and they pulled them to 3 stopping points. When you got out, you had to find money or silver coins, which was a shield potential. The coin got you a seat on a chariot. And if you were on the chariot at the end, then you had a shield. Actually, Colton's strategy was good. He was like, I'm going to wait until the very last one to find the silver coin. I thought they should have kept Tiffany on the chariots because Tiffany was counting. So they weren't getting any time notifications. It was a 45-minute timer. It made sense to me. Like, why not just have Tiffany sitting there and keeping count the whole time without distraction?
Mm-hmm.
And she actually survives the first checkpoint. Like, 2 coins are found and they keep her up there probably for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
They don't say that, but that would be my guess. That was valuable. She made herself valuable even though she was sitting in that chair. So we get to the last chariot point, and Ron puts a coin in and plops down in Mara's seat. Michael just loses it. He's like, why didn't we talk about who got to sit there? Like, that was never a conversation. Everybody else, it was, if you find it, you get to pop a squat. Colton just got it and popped a squat.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was really strange that Michael was making such a big deal out of it.
I think he was feeling the pressure from Yum Yum that morning at breakfast because they had already started arguing at breakfast that morning. And I think, they both were telling each other that they thought the other one was a traitor. So I think they both was wanting shields.
And
So
people
when
are
he,
like, is he just this stupid? Or is he a traitor and trying to fake out that he needs a shield and he really doesn't? Because it just seems so random. In the middle of the round
Mhm.
table, they're talking about votes and he starts complaining about not getting a shield.
well, he was complaining about it when they got all the chariots to the castle too. He was
He
asking
complained about
Alan.
it like in episode 3, he's still complaining about it.
Yeah, he was like, "Well, we should had a discussion." Nobody
I
had a
wonder
discussion.
what the editors cut out. I bet something happened that we didn't see. It just doesn't make sense.
I don't know, but he was determined.
And that's where him and Yam Yam get into it at round table too. But yeah, Donna leaves. Donna is the secret traitor.
Mhm.
People are shocked even though they voted for her,
Mhm.
which what does that tell us about their strategy? That you just almost unanimously voted out Donna, but you're surprised she's leaving.
Like it's a guessing game.
I'm thinking it's more based on emotion than evidence. I mean,
Well,
I thought I saw evidence with her face,
right.
and some people did, her not communicating, but I think the majority of them, it's social pressure and just a gut feeling, which
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say.
not a great strategy.
So many of us, I mean, look, trust is involved in this, at least for the faithfuls and the traitors, honestly. They need to trust each other. So when you think that you're a good judge of that, you don't want to be wrong. So it's probably really hard
Well, it's like
when,
Tara said in the first episode, I don't think any of you are traitors, but I know that some people in here are, as she's sitting there with, I
mm-hmm,
think it was Lisa Rinna.
mm-hmm, exactly. So, none of us want to admit if we're a bad judge of character. We all like to think that we can sniff it out. This person's not trustworthy. This person is. And, some people will stick to their guns all the way to the end. I mean, we've seen that in other seasons.
But maybe Donna wasn't evicted because of good strategy. Maybe it was just social pressure and luck
That's what
that
I'm
they got a
thinking.
traitor. So that leads into the second roundtable. The mission, the fallout on the mission leads and over the shields leads into people starting to suspect Michael, but he's just such an oddball. They're like, is he really that stupid or is he brilliant?
One or the other. It's almost like
I
he's
hear it a lot
acting.
about myself.
It's almost like he's acting, though, to me. Like, it reminds me so much of some of the characters I've seen him play in movies before. So I don't know how
He is
much
an
of it.
actor.
I know. So I don't know how much is genuinely him and how much is put on. But the thing is, one of the things that I noticed in last season, people like him end up hanging around a really long time because the traitors are using them as diversions and shields so they don't murder them.
So what do you
That just
mean? So the traitors
so
don't murder them?
the traitors don't murder them, and for some reason they're able to talk their way around other people to keep themselves from getting banished. I mean, they last a long time. At least they did in like the season before. But there's a point I think they need to stop and not go like overboard.
But the traitors aren't murdering these loud people. So how does that shield the other players?
No, I'm talking about it. Michael is shielding himself with his behavior, at least from the murder. He only has to worry about the banishment from the other people at the table. Does that make sense?
They're not going to murder him because he's
Exactly.
a possibility to go out for banishment. But I think even more so because he's diverting attention away from the traitors.
Right. That's what I just said.
Is that what you had said?
Yes, it's what I said. Those people tend to stick around longer because they don't get murdered, because the faithfuls can't decide if they're a traitor or just these flamboyant, outspoken people. So the only risk ends up being banishment, and a lot of them have a good chance of talking the people at the table or the social groups individually into voting for somebody else when it comes to banishment. They just seem to last longer when they're like him.
And before Donna is banished, they actually killed Rob in plain sight, which we talked about earlier, so we won't go back over that conga line and all that jazz. After they banish Donna, they actually do this before the mission, and that's because on the third mission, everybody has to pick a partner, somebody that they trust intimately with their lives. The one person who doesn't get a partner automatically goes up for a potential murder, and that's Ron. Right now, Ron is being isolated because, one, he was close to Donna, and Donna's a traitor, and also because he accused Portia with evidence, and she wasn't a traitor. At this point, do you think people have more trust in Ron or more trust in Colton, who got Donna out, but maybe not on as good of evidence as what Ron posed at the round table for Portia?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's the case. I think that Ron had solid evidence, and there was witnesses start Portia saying that stuff. But then once she was found to not be a traitor, everybody started thinking that he was connected to Donna. So now that Donna has been found out, yeah.
Which also, unless they're both traitors and they're deciding they're only going to be friends with each other, which would be a horrible traitor strategy, I wouldn't think that Ron was the traitor. Although I'm not in house, I'm sure it's different when you're living it. But I think that's interesting. Ron, to me, presented a good case. He had good observations. Colton has some good observations, but we're seeing him in episode 3 throwing out a lot of accusations. He doesn't trust Tiffany. He doesn't trust Ron. He doesn't trust Yam Yam. He doesn't trust like 5 different people. He must think half the house is traitors at this point. And it's really all on evidence that I wouldn't even consider to be circumstantial if you stacked it all up.
Yeah,
Like she trusted him. Tiffany trusted Michael. Okay. So,
well,
Avery,
I think Ron's isolation is just bullshit. I think a logical person should have been able to say, hey, if I had been in that situation and heard her say those things, I would have felt the same way.
I worry that Colton is going to have more credibility because he was right on
Donna. Yeah.
Absolutely. And they may trust him even without any reasons. I thought it was really great. The first round table, Natalie sat down and said, look, we're faithful here. We're trying to figure out the truth. Just say what you've observed. I thought that was a great strategy and speech. So the last mission in episode 3, we've got people in cages. If you're in a cage, then the person you trust the most that you've picked is going to be working to pull a bunch of Halloween decoration skulls that Fergie planted all over the swamp, pull them out of the swamp and come stack them within 10 minutes, one on top of the other, all 10 of them, let you out of the cage. Rob R., the traitor, he's working with Mara. So he's warming up to her and he wants to get her out of the cage. He wants to build trust there. And he's the first one to get her out. Candace and Lisa both get into the cages. And I can't remember if it's Kristen or Caroline. I think it's Kristen who is looking to see who's in the cages, because why wouldn't a traitor go in the cages if there's no risk
Mm-hmm.
of being evicted? Well, first of all, if a traitor's in the cage and they really like the person they're teamed up with, there's not a risk of that person going out. We see that with Candace and Caroline.
Lisa.
Well, Tara. Candace and Tara Lipinski,
Mm-hmm.
they're forming a really close bond, and they really trust each other.
Well, and I thought the traitors that were in the cages did something very smart. Both of them, it was not their decisions to go into the cages. They let their partner pick who went into the cage and who tried to get the other one out. So if any suspicion would come on traitors that could possibly be in the cages, they both have partners that are going to say, but they didn't volunteer to go in the cage. I said for them to go into the cage.
Didn't stop the suspicion, though, with Kristen.
No.
I thought it was hilarious, Johnny and Eric. Johnny doesn't even make it back with the skulls.
In the 10 minutes that they have.
No, he does not get them. When he comes back, Alan's like, it's already over.
It's over.
And in the ITMs, Eric's going, dude, you are an Olympic athlete. What's going on? We just see him like kicking around the swamp. Look, he is an indoor athlete. He ice skates, not an outdoor athlete. He's like my type of athlete. I want my son to play hockey or something so I can sit inside where it's nice and cool and not have to go outside and watch a T-ball game in the hot southern sun. So I feel you on that, Johnny. But I thought that was pretty funny, him just kicking around the swamp, because yeah, like you're a world-class athlete. Colton doesn't stack the 10 skulls. He's shaking. I wonder if he's cold, because they are bundled up and they're also tromping around through water.
Yeah. I was wondering, I mean, of all of them, he's shaking so bad. Like he's knocked it over a couple of times.
And Caroline keeps saying he's nervous, but I think he's just cold.
I do too.
It's interesting that in the cars on the way back, Colton brings up the suspicious duo, Tiffany and Michael. Why would she pick him? She likes to be in control. She put him in that cage like she's a puppet master. But you know what? Colton? She stacked the skulls up and got him out, didn't she? So it seems like she made a good judgment. Why would Caroline pick you? You couldn't get it up. Your hands were shaking too much. I think he's just mad that Tiffany outplayed him. Maybe embarrassed.
Yeah, it's a good possibility.
So we end the episode with the traitors deciding who to kill. We have Caroline, Kristen, Ron, and Eric tied to trees.
Well, Lisa was too.
She wasn't tied to the tree, though. Somehow they let her out of the cage to get to the turret to have her little conversation.
But she's
not begging for her life. Yeah, she was in the cage, but she's not tied to the tree.
But she's one of the people that supposedly the rest of the house thinks is on the tree.
But they're begging for their lives. So Caroline is just like, please don't kill me. I thought Eric was interesting. He said, I'm very smart and I can help you. I would have liked to hear how he proposes to help them.
I thought that was very interesting too.
Tell me your identity. I'll keep it a secret, or I will make a big target on myself. I will do suspicious things to take the pressure off of you. I would have wanted to hear that fleshed out more. Kristen says, I'm not begging for my life. You've already made up your decision before you got here. You're going to do what you want to do. So do it. And Ron is just like, kill me. Kill me now. I want to see your faces. Who are you?
Because if you don't kill me now, I'm going to get you.
And if you don't kill me now, I am coming after you. Now, in the turret, they discussed possibly getting rid of Caroline because housewives are usually targeted early and there hasn't been a dead housewife. Okay, we're 2 kills in.
There's been a banished one, though.
And there's been a banished one. Yeah. Good point. So I don't think that's To me, that wouldn't be enough to kill Caroline
Mm-mm.
at this point in the game. Eric, they're like, that would be a rando.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen, they said, is smart, and they see her as a threat.
Mm-hmm.
They're targeting smart players.
Mm-hmm.
That has been their MO. And then you have Ron. Now, based on Ron's speech, is he now a threat?
I don't think so. If it was me as a traitor, I would be leaving Ron.
I agree. I think he's going to get voted out. People
Mhm.
don't even want to talk to him to partner with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste a murder on him.
I wouldn't either.
Mm-mm.
All right. So if you're a traitor, D, who's getting taken out in the next episode?
If they continue to do smart people, I think it's going to be Kristen.
I agree. I
Mhm.
think Kristen is the one to take out. Too early for Caroline. And Eric, maybe find a way to work with him later.
There's some potential with him, with what he said.
Or just leave him.
Mm-hmm.
He's also not socializing a lot,
Mm-mm.
where I would worry about him sharing all of his ideas with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Right.
All right. Fashion observations. Because, people bring it in this show. We have talked about Lisa Rinna's leopard print. Tiffany also had a really cute leopard print red
Mhm.
puffy jacket that I loved.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Candace, she looked like a flight attendant or police officer. She had this blue sweater, two-piece like skirt and top on with this hat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, because honestly, for me, everybody pales in comparison to Alan. Whatever he comes in is so
wait a minute.
spectacular. I just can't focus on anybody else's outfits.
Pump the brakes, because I don't think it was Monet. Was it Yam Yam? And I cannot remember. I don't have my notes, but one of the times the guy comes in, he has this red outfit on with this red hat on. It looks like Mario. And then the next day, he's wearing this cream shirt and a green similar hat like Luigi. Whoever it was, I thought it was Mario Brothers, and I can't remember. So it wasn't like a huge impact player,
Mhm.
but that outfit, I was thinking, what the heck? At one point, no. How much wine have I had?
I don't know. I remember Monet in a sequin outfit, like maybe the first night. It was spectacular. It was so pretty.
Ron has this like bright orange striped Mr. Rogers sweater that's kind of fuzzy. That was an
Yes.
interesting choice. And yes, that was a choice.
Mm-mm.
Rob R has this huge Hawaiian shirt that's red. It looked like it had batwing sleeves. It wasn't just your typical Hawaiian shirt fit. I'm just happy he has a shirt on. Mara, who at the very beginning is saying she wants to play this sweet Love Island girl, comes in looking straight up like a traitor with this green leather piece on and her hair pulled back. She was giving traitor vibes.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Portia and Candace and their sweet vibes coming into the house. And yes, Alan. Why was he dressed like Big Bird?
I don't know. And like, yellow is my least favorite color as far as clothing. So it was very like standoffish for me. But I like the one, and I can't remember which night it was, but where half of his hair was like white and the other half was like black with like a sparkle.
It was like a blue sparkle. It was
Yes.
the king one. And my notes were like, it looks like a giant bird pooped on his head. And then the next morning, he walks
He's
into
Big
breakfast
Bird.
looking like a big bird and talking about the early bird gets the worm. What Alice in Wonderland shit have we walked into? I had so many notes on this, and I'm excited for next week because we'll be able to focus on one episode. It will be much more structured. I apologize if we are all over the place. I feel like this is just going to be a flop for a podcast, and nobody's going to like
Aw.
and subscribe. They're going to be like, we're not listening to them for Traitors. I promise you, we do much better work than this. Like I said, I lost all of my notes. We did not expect to get slammed with 3 episodes. If I knew that, well, we're really busy at work, I probably would not have spread them out over 3 episodes. But we will be focusing more on the ins and outs as we move forward. And we're just glad that you listened to us if you made it this far. Thanks for listening. We'll be back Monday with Sister Wives. tell all. Heck yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
Or tell nothing. We'll see. And then Tuesday, 90 Day, the other way, one of our favorites. And then next Friday, we'll be back with Traitors.
That's
I'm
right.
excited.
Me too.
Have a good weekend, Channel Surfers, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Let's ride.